Hello everyone, and welcome to my first sketchbook flip through. This is what I consider to be my Inktober sketchbook, and I mainly used these ballpoint gel pens in here that I've been trying to use up. And I wouldn't count these as one of my more illustrative sketchbooks. The majority of these drawings are actually study drawings. The main goal that I had with this sketchbook was to brush up on my animal anatomy, as well as improve my line quality, which needed a lot of work. Anyway, without further ado, let's open this up. And I also started naming my sketchbooks. This one's name is McDoland. And there's a reason for that, being that this sketchbook has a theme, and that theme is farm animals. So what better name to give such a sketchbook other than McDoland? Okay, let us start with these ducks. These are very comical animals. You know, a lot of birds, when they walk, they're very sure-footed, they're very precise with their feet, their footing. But ducks don't care. They have these huge flipper feet that they will use to become the bringers of destruction. They will stomp around, cause chaos everywhere, scare all the other farm animals, and quack angrily at you. I feel like the characters Donald Duck and Daffy Duck are very good representations of these animals. You know, super energetic, very adorable. Okay, some more ducks, and oh yeah, some duck butts, because well, if I'm going to have a series of pages filled with duck drawings, I'd better have at least one drawing of their butts. That's my philosophy. They're downy, fluffy butts with those tails that constantly wag. And then some more ducks. This one has a bow tie on. He is looking very dapper, and he knows he's ready to go on his date. Some more ducks here, and some swimming ducks. And then we go into roosters. I love the shape that the plumage creates these guys. It's like pretty triangular, but with rounded elements. And then we have some featherless chickens. If you look up pictures of these guys online, they're very pink and red, and they look extremely unfortunate. Anyway, here are some baby chickens. This one looks like a fluffy jelly bean with legs. Look at how tiny the wings are. Very cute. Oh, and then here's a silky chicken, and then some more silky chickens here. I actually pet one of these once before. It was at like a petting zoo sort of event, and nobody knew what it was, so I just saw a ball of fluff just leaning next to the fence in its pen, and I just went over and started petting it, and the people around me were like, "What is that? Is that a bunny? Is that a dog?" And I was like, "Well, I'm feeling quills, I'm feeling feathers," and the owner tells us that it's a silky chicken, and you know, the light bulb went off, and I'm like, "Oh, I know what those are, I've seen pictures. Wow, I'm petting a silky chicken. What a time to be alive." And I can definitely tell why these guys are so popular. They're super docile and sweet, and very fluffy. I just wish you clucked or made some kind of chicken noise. You know, I definitely didn't know what he or she was, and if I just heard any sort of chicken noise, that would have kind of given me some kind of clue to figure out what animal this was. But yeah, I would definitely want to go see some Toki chickens again. Totally worth it. Oh, here are some more roosters, but now they're in flight, they're in movement. Yeah, and then I'll just turn it this way as well. Yeah, like the shape of these guys coupled with the movement really makes for a dynamic silhouette, dynamic shape. I really loved drawing these guys. And then we get into some goats. These are studies, and these were from my imagination. And I really like this one because of the variation in line thickness, as well as just the overall line variation. It really makes for a more interesting and dynamic image. So I really like this one, and I like the personality in his face a lot. This was actually, I actually didn't go in order with this sketchbook. So this was one of my first pages in the sketchbooks that I worked on, and I actually, I believe I did this page back in September. Yeah, what I did was I just fooled around in the sketchbook for a while, and I just left it alone. And then I came back to it during October 1st to like really get into the Inktober thing. Anyway. Yeah. And the medium, I was very used to drawing in pen and drawing in ink, but this one was quite different. Like the consistency of this ink was quite different from what I was used to. I generally use you know, those big pens that people would write notes with for school, and that ink dries quite quickly. But this one was very fluid, very runny. It was extremely runny, as if it had legs or something. And yeah, I was just struggling, trying to figure out how to make this work, because like the consistency of the ink was so different from what I was used to. So yeah, this is just me struggling, trying to figure out what the heck is going on with this. Yeah, so random man, and then an impala. I don't know what he is doing in this farm. Perhaps this is an exotic farm, but when I thought farm animals, I was mainly thinking of the stereotypical American farm animals, because that's the only kind of farm that I've been into. Anyway, we get into some cows. I love the shape of their faces. Like, they have a very gentle slope. When you look at their profiles, it's like, yeah, it just slopes out like that, and I don't know, it's very beautiful to me. Yeah, also, apparently cows do this. Apparently cows sit like this. I did not know that, and I just burst into laughter when I saw some of these pictures that I use as references. And the funny thing about her is that when you look at her face, like the lines of her mouth here, she looks super sassy, as if she's going, "Girl, I'm not moving from the spot. My butt's comfortable where it is, and you can't make me move." And oh, and this one is very interesting as well, because you know, like all these layers of fat are kind of stacked on top of each other, like some kind of a weird cow pancake, and the bottommost layer are the udders, and there's like just so much squish going on here, yet her face is very alert, her ears are perked up, and she's surveying her surroundings very diligently. And then we have some more cows. This one is actually a very shiny ink. Oh my gosh, I could do this forever. And I just love the silhouette of these animals. They're very rectangular. If you live in a suburban, if you live in a rural area, or even a suburban or an urban area, and you just pass by pastures or just grazing cows, on your way to work or something like that, I feel like you would understand what I'm talking about. They have a very rectangular silhouette. You know, it's amazing how their shoulders and like hip bones kind of make this shape, and their legs just support that rectangular rectangular form. And when these animals walk, they sort of amble, because just look at this one, like it almost looks like a potato balancing on toothpicks or even matches. Yet I don't know how they do it. There's just so much mass on here, yet the legs are strong enough to support all that. But when you observe them moving, they kind of amble, because, you know, like that massive form and weight kind of shifting between those legs, and, you know, gravity sort of working against them. They do amble. They look like they're struggling, but they can run too, so I guess it's really not much of a problem for them. Yeah, and then we have some calves. When they're born, they're quite thin, and then they bulk up as they get bigger. Oh, and then we get into some bulls. These are cows, and the bulls, you know, they're male animals, so their heads are going to be a lot more bulky, a lot more chunky, a lot more solid than their female counterparts. And their bodies too. Just look at their bodies. These are some serious bodies, super muscular. I feel like if I were to personify these guys, they would be at the level of, you know, heavyweight wrestling champions, because look how ripped they are. You know, they're ready to go. And a lot of these bulls that I used, the images that I used as references were fighting bulls, so, you know, they're extra pumped up and like really ready to kick butt. Oh, and this one was sort of a cool down page. I was super tired when I was working on this, but I was really stubborn about it. I was like, you know, the night's so young, I want to draw. I want to fill up like at least one more page before I just pass out. And I don't think that was a very good idea, because yeah, these just look really horrible, and you can tell that I wasn't really 100% when I was working on this page. You know, like this face. He looks very apathetic. I'm sure I was feeling like that. I do like this face, so everything else is just eh. But I think I was drawing a bunch of border collies, you know, sheepdogs, to keep up with the farm animal theme. And these are some studies from an artist who was doing shape exercises with animals, and I just loved how she did it. So I had to do some studies of it, and here are some instances where I tried to apply what I've learned, but it's not quite there yet, but I'll get there someday. Someday I'll be able to do it. Okay, and then a bunch of corgis. This is one of my favorite pages of this entire sketchbook, actually, because I just really love these dogs. They're very happy. They're very stocky and very yeah, they're just happy-go-lucky dogs. This one's sleeping. Yeah, very super cute. And you know, like all these sheepdogs tend to have very fluffy butts, and you know, like sheep also have fluffy butts, so coincidence? Is it a coincidence? I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, because it's not just corgis. There are also Australian shepherds and like those old English sheepdogs. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some other ones. Yeah, I guess collies do. Yeah, collies do have a pretty fluffy butt. These are rough collies and smooth collies. I love collies. They're very handsome dogs. I feel like if we were to give them human equivalents, they would be something like old Hollywood 1950s, 1960s Hollywood movie stars. They're very handsome dogs. And then some chickens. Oh, these were earlier. These are hens. These were done earlier than the roosters. But I think I was really focusing on line thickness here. Yeah, because the lines are a lot more delicate, while like when I was drawing those roosters, I was more focused on form. I was more focused on lines here. But I did capture the rotund shape of the hens. They're very different from, you know, like those more dynamic, angular forms that the roosters have. Some more hens. I love the shape that these guys make, especially when they graze. They kind of look like watering cans, watering pails, or perhaps even vases. And yeah, this was just me struggling. I wasn't even thinking when I was drawing this. I was just like, lines, how do they work? Where will they go? Let's find out. This one is an Australian Shepherd, I believe. And then some more goats. Oh, and these are just Crayola crayons. This was one of my earliest pages back in late September, before I just abandoned it completely before coming back to it when October came around. Yeah, I didn't know what I was going to be doing with the sketchbook. Yeah, these are the earliest pages. I just did not know what I was going to be doing with the sketchbook, so I was just messing around with Crayola crayons. It just wasn't working for me, so I mean, the Crayola crayons, just I don't know if it's just the paper, or I don't know if it's the medium itself, but like it just was not working for me, so I just ended up going with those gel ballpoint pens. Yeah, these are just a bunch of badly drawn humans. Yeah, I think these were warm-ups, that's why they look so bad. Some more goats. The ink's not showing up very well. This was a weird color to work with. It's like this neon green, and it just does not work well with these Moleskine papers. More these are cows, a bunch of cows. And then goats. These were from my imagination. Before I really got into doing goat studies, I was just like mind barfing into the page. But yeah, these are the more studies. But I do like how they have some personality to them, even though their anatomy is just like completely messed up. Yeah, these are the studies, goat studies. This one was from my imagination while I was doing these studies. Oh, and these baby goats, these are the Pygmy goats, the African Pygmy goats. I think it has a more specific name, but I'm not quite so sure. Yeah, and these guys are on salt blocks because you know about those goats. They really crave that mineral. And some more chickens. Some baby chickens. I love how a lot of these didn't make the cut, but it's not their fault, it's mine. I just couldn't draw. And these are goats. Some more goats. I love the character in his face. Lovely goatee. Some more baby goats. This one could almost be a Disney character. She looks so cute. Yeah, some more goats. Prancing. Goats were made to prance. And then the male goat with his luscious goatee, and then some Angora goats. They kind of look like they're wearing winter coats, and it's really adorable. Oh, and then we get into some barn cats, because what farm isn't complete without barn cats to catch all those mice and other pests for you? I love drawing felines so much because they're very liquidy. You know, cats are almost like liquid. They move so fluidly, and I don't like, and they make all these shapes with their bodies, and it's just crazy. I don't know how they do it, and I love trying to capture that. And then they do stuff like this, like what is happening here? This cat is balancing on this wooden post, but like it almost looks like a wad of gum stuck to a stick, or even like a mushroom. I don't know, cats are so fun. I love drawing them so much. This one has caught a bunny. Some more cats. This one is a long-haired one. Very regal looking, very majestic. I love how the fur kind of like makes these forms in its bodies. All these descriptive lines revealing how the form underneath works. Okay, and then we get into horses. These are Mustangs, the wild horses of the West. Some more Mustangs. They're very beautiful, these horses. And then we get into gypsy vanners. These guys are, they're very stocky horses, but they're very pretty, you know, like their manes, their wavy manes, and like all these tufts at their feet. Very pretty horses. Some more gypsy vanners. And then, the Shetland ponies. This one must be having fun. And I drew a random character, a random Shetland pony character, and he's playing the piano, going "bitch please," and he's doing that that thing that horses do, where they lift up their lips and reveal their horse teeth and gums to us. They have so much personality. Oh, and then we get into some thoroughbred horses, very manly horses. Look at all that muscles. Very handsome. And then some Arabian horses, very elegant, very slender. More Arabians, and then here's a colt. And then we get into sheep. Oh, let me tell you a story about this image. So apparently the reference image, in the reference image, all of these guys were male. And you could tell that because they had these humongous testicles. And I think the main purpose of the image was to for the breeder or the farmer to showcase how fertile these sheep are, but like for someone who's just doing Inktober drawings and a sketchbook, like I didn't need that, you know, so I just cut it off. I'm so sorry for fictionally castrating these sheep, but I don't know, just drawing enlarged sheep balls, I don't think it really would help me as an artist. Perhaps for another artist, not for me. Yeah, some more sheep. Lots and lots of sheep. I love the wool affects the shape of the face. Yeah, I like this one too. You know, their eyes are so far apart. They're placed so far apart at the sides of their heads, so like when they turn to look at you, they kind of look like they're looking at you, but not looking at you. I visited a farm a while ago, and there was this sheep, there was this male sheep to greet us. He just kept approaching us, and he just looked at us one by one, but I just really couldn't tell because like his eyes are so far apart. I'm like, are you really looking at me, or I don't know. I don't know. The male sheep had a lot of personality too. Got upset when we didn't give him any attention. People generally don't view them as super intelligent animals, but like they are very smart. More sheep. That one with his majestic sheep horns. And here's a lamb. I feel like they're very similar to baby goats, but they're quite different in I want to say their leg thickness and just overall body thickness, and faces are quite different as well. And then we get into some pigs. Here's a piglet. You know, ungulates, toe tip walkers, toenail walkers, hooved animals, you know, like they walk on what's analogous to our fingernails and toenails. So their leg structure is quite different, and because of that, they kind of walk very daintily. They're kind of like the ballerinas of, they're almost like the ballerinas of the animal kingdom, but I feel like pigs are really on a league of their own. Like when you watch baby pigs just walking around, like their hooves tip-tapping around, like they walk so daintily, and it's really funny because when they grow up, you know, they put on weight because we breed these guys. We can breed them as pets, but we mainly, if it's in the farm, like we mainly breed them for their meat, right? We breed them for consumption. So when they grow up, they're gonna put on weight, and you know the gravity is gonna affect them. You know, their feet is going to be a bit smushed because of that, because of the weight. But even adult pigs, when you watch some of them just walk around, they walk very daintily too. So it's like this weird, beautiful contradiction. Yes, it's really funny too. It's just hilarious. And what's more, especially when I watch any pigs, but like especially baby pigs, like piglets, walk around, I really imagine, you know, the sound effect that they have for cartoons and cartoon characters where like really dainty like ladies on wearing heels or something like that, or some person like tiptoeing around, like sneaking around. They have those ting 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 sound, and I totally imagine that following these pigs around. I'm just weird, but it really makes the drawing process more enjoyable when you have a weird mind like mine. Yeah. Some more pigs, and they're always smiling. So cute. The more pigs. This is the last page of animals because now we're getting into foods made from animal products. Anyway, here we have a bunch of dairy products. So you have your milk, you have your cheese, butter, cream, yogurt, ice cream, and some egg dishes. Here is tamagoyaki, or keramari, and then an omelet. Oh, and then here are some cakes, which is a combination of, you know, like dairy and eggs with things like flour added in. Some more ice cream and a pudding. You know, beers would go nuts over this one. And then some more pudding. This was a badly drawn parfait. And this is either a rack of lamb or a rack of goat. I'm not quite so sure. Same goes for this one. This one is a steak. This is another steak. And this is a goat kebab. But I really should have put in more colors in it to kind of differentiate the meat from the vegetables. And again, with this ink, like this weird neon green ink that I decided to use for some reason on this page, in this sketchbook, like it just doesn't, it clashes too much with the yellowish tinted tone of the Moleskine paper, so. But anyway, this was supposed to be chicken noodle soup in a bread bowl, and this was supposed to be beef stew, but like I can't really see it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't come up on the camera. And then, yeah, the sketchbook's pretty much over, and like here I just did a bunch of note-taking and practice. And that is the gist of it. Yep. Overall, I feel like I really did benefit from, you know, all these studies and drawings. I feel like my line quality did improve a lot, and it was just really fun to do. It was a fun little side project to take on. Yeah, I really think it was worth it. So if there's any of you who are looking for things to do, you know, any ideas, like looking for ideas to kind of develop like your sketchbooks, like this is one exercise you could do, you know, a bunch of like animal drawings. Thanks for watching. I have a lot more sketchbooks to go through, so if you're interested, I hope to see you on my next videos. Have a great day, and until next time. Oh, and then in the spirit of Halloween, I had to add in a little Scooby-Doo thing over here.
Like, zoink, Scoob! The video's over. We gotta go now. Uh-oh. Bye-bye.